Zach. I should have known something was up when Tiffany greeted me at the door wearing that slinky red dress. My wife never dressed up like that unless we were going out somewhere fancy. But we didn't have any plans for the evening as far as I knew. "Welcome home, honey," she purred, wrapping her arms around my neck and planting a deep kiss on my lips. I returned the kiss, caught up in the unexpected passion, but then pulled back, puzzled. "What's the occasion, babe? Did I forget an anniversary or something?" Tiffany giggled and trailed a finger down my chest. "No occasion. I just thought we could have a special night in together." Her hand drifted lower and I felt my body responding despite my confusion. "Well, all right then," I grinned, sweeping her up into my arms. "Lead the way, Mrs. Robinson." She squealed with delight as I carried her towards the bedroom, kicking off my shoes along the way. This was already shaping up to be one hell of a night. Little did I know it would turn into the night from hell. The night my whole world came crashing down around me. We were tangled up in the sheets, basking in the afterglow, when Tiffany rolled over and said the words that felt like a kick to the gut. "I want a divorce." I must have misheard her. "What did you say?" "I want a divorce," she repeated slowly, enunciating each word like I was an idiot. "This marriage is over, Zach. I'm done." My mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. This had to be some kind of sick joke. We'd been deliriously happy together for 3 years. High school sweethearts who got married right after college. What could have possibly gone so wrong? But why? I finally managed to croak out. "What did I do wrong?" Tiffany shrugged, already disentangling herself from me and the bedsheets. "It's not you, it's me. I've just outgrown this relationship." "Outgrown you." Her callous words felt like bullets ripping through my chest. How could the love of my life be so cold and heartless? This couldn't be the same woman I fell for in 10th grade English class. "Don't give me that bullshit line," I said, anger starting to rise up to meet the hurt. "If you want out of this marriage, you owe me the truth." "The real truth." Tiffany paused, one foot out of bed, and seemed to consider her next words carefully. When she spoke, it was in an eerily detached tone. "The truth is, I've met someone else. Someone who excites me in ways you never could. We've been having an affair for months now, and I've decided I want to be with him instead of you." It was like she'd plunged a white-hot poker right into my heart. "An affair? With who? How could I have been so blind? Who is he?" I demanded through gritted teeth. "Do I know the bastard?" She smirked then, clearly savoring my pain. "You could say that. It's your buddy, Craig. From work. My own friend. Stabbing me in the back with my wife. The ultimate betrayal." "Get out," I said in a low, dangerous voice. "Get your shit and get out of my house right now before I do something I'll regret." For once, Tiffany looked slightly afraid. She quickly gathered up an overnight bag and headed for the door. But then she stopped and turned back, that infuriating smirk returning. "Oh, and one more thing. I'm going to make sure you can't come anywhere near me. I've already filed for a restraining order. If you try to contact me at all, you'll be thrown in jail." With those parting words, she blew me a mocking kiss and was gone, leaving me alone in the wreckage of my life, trying to figure out what the hell had just happened. I don't remember much of what happened over the next few days and weeks. Just a blur of misery, anger, and confusion. Tiffany wasn't just content to leave me, she seemed determined to utterly destroy me. Craig, the sniveling coward, wouldn't return my calls or texts demanding answers. Tiffany's friends stopped speaking to me too, closing ranks around the cheating wife like I was the villain. Even my own family seemed to be pulling away, not sure whose side to take. Then the gossip started. Vicious rumors began spreading like wildfire, fueled by Tiffany's vindictive tongue, no doubt. That I was abusive. That I'd driven her into Craig's arms through neglect and cruelty. It got so bad that I actually lost my job because the whispers made my bosses uncomfortable having me around. Tiffany. God, what a night. I can't believe I actually went through with it, dropping the divorce bomb on Zach like that after our little special evening together. The look on his dumb face when the words came out of my mouth? Priceless. Like I just sucker punched him right in the gut. Which I guess I kinda did, in a way. I've been dreading and putting off this confrontation for months now, ever since things started getting serious with Craig. At first, it was just a harmless flirtation, you know? A little emotional affair to make me feel alive again after the mind-numbing doldrums of married life set in. But then Craig and I went on that trip to Vegas for his buddy's bachelor party, and one thing led to another, and, well, you know how it goes. Lust and tequila make a hell of a truth serum. From that moment on, I was hooked. Addicted to the thrill, the sneaking around, the delicious wrongness of it all. Craig set my body on fire in ways that boring, predictable Zach never could. Don't get me wrong, my husband's a decent enough guy and all. But decent doesn't cut it when you've tasted freedom and passion for the first time. That's what this was all about, really, freedom. Freedom from the cookie-cutter life I'd fallen into after getting married way too young. Freedom from always being the good girl, who did what was expected instead of what she truly desired. Zach represented everything safe and comfortable and smothering about the life I thought I wanted. Craig was my escape hatch, my way out into a bigger, badder, infinitely more exciting world. I won't lie, though, I didn't make this decision lightly. Part of me loved Zach, or at least the idea of him and the life we'd built. But that part was steadily shrinking by the day, withering away under the hot glare of my newly awakened lust and hunger for something more. Craig gave me a taste of true passion, and now I was hopelessly addicted to the high. So when Zach came strolling through that door tonight, I decided to put an end to the charade once and for all. I'd been planning this moment for weeks, getting dolled up in that red dress that always drove him wild, prepping the bedroom for one last hurrah before dropping the bomb. I have to admit, I got a sick thrill out of watching his eyes light up when he saw me, knowing that light was about to be brutally extinguished. The sex was fine, I guess. A hollow echo of the mind-blowing sessions Craig and I would have for hours on end. But it served its purpose of lulling Zach into a false sense of security right before I detonated his entire world. I actually felt a little pang of guilt and sadness as the words, "I want a divorce," left my lips. Only a little, though. This was what I wanted, what I needed, and no amount of emotional manipulation from Zach was going to dissuade me. And boy, did he try to manipulate me once the shock started to wear off. The pleading, the denials, the accusations and demands for explanations, so typical of a man who always thought he had everything all figured out. I let him run through the whole gamut of emotions while I calmly got dressed and packed a bag, knowing that nothing he said would change my mind. When I finally dropped the "I'm having an affair with Craig" bombshell, I swear I almost felt sorry for the poor bastard. He looked like I'd just run over his childhood puppy right in front of him. In the end, though, his anger and hurt just fueled me even more. Brought out my own cruel, vindictive streak that I'd been suppressing for far too long. I couldn't resist getting in that last parting shot about the restraining order before sashaying out of there, finally free from the prison I'd voluntarily locked myself into years ago. Free to be with Craig and chase my every desire without guilt or shame. Zach. I felt like a man being slowly crushed under the weight of 1,000 little lies. Lies I had no way to combat or disprove. Tiffany had turned my whole life into a kangaroo court where I was the convicted criminal from the start. That's when Jillian entered the picture. Well, re-entered my life, I should say. We'd been neighbors when we were kids, 2 houses apart on Sycamore Street. Jillian was the weird girl, always dressed in black, dreaming of becoming a hacker or cyber terrorist or whatever it was goth kids were into back then. I hadn't seen or spoken to her in over 15 years. Then one day, out of the blue, she showed up on my doorstep with a surprising proposal. "I know what that bitch Tiffany has been doing to you online," she said without preamble. "The lies, the smear campaign, all of it. I can help you fight back and clear your name. If you're interested." I'll admit, I was skeptical at first. Jillian had been the ultimate outsider, the perpetual loner. What could she possibly do to fix this nightmare I was living? But I was also desperate. Desperate enough to let this former goth weirdo try to work her computer magic. Because the alternative was giving up and letting Tiffany and her crappy lies win. So I agreed, and that's when Jillian unveiled her master plan to me. To summarize, it went something like this. Step 1. dig up every scrap of dirt on Tiffany and her douchebag boy toy Craig that the internet had to offer. Which, in this era of social oversharing, amounted to a substantial amount. Step 2. Package it all up into a juicy exposé and start an anonymous gossip blog that would go viral, spreading the truth about Tiffany's cheating ways far and wide online. Step 3. Use said blog to accumulate an army of followers who could amplify the story across every social media platform, making it an unstoppable force. Step 4. Sit back and watch as Tiffany's lies and false narratives crumbled under the weight of cold, hard facts that proved I was the real victim here. I'll admit, it sounded pretty far-fetched when Jillian first laid it all out. She was proposing to harness the chaos of the internet to serve justice instead of anarchy. But after the hell I'd been through, I was willing to try anything. And damn, if the girl didn't turn out to be legit. Because not only did her plan work, it worked almost too well. I don't know how Jillian first found those incriminating photos of Tiffany and Craig together at some seedy motel, or where she uncovered evidence of their secret Vegas trip mere weeks before Tiffany blindsided me. All I know is that once she started leaking it out there, the online world went apocalyptic. Within days, Jillian's gossip blog had become a viral phenomenon, with people from across the globe weighing in on the sordid details of my failed marriage. Tiffany went from being portrayed as an innocent victim to a scheming adulterer almost overnight. The comments, reactions, and memes were overwhelming, with a seemingly endless supply of people rallying behind the humiliated husband Jillian had turned me into. It was both uplifting and terrifying, watching this online mob turn on Tiffany with unbridled fury. Craig didn't escape unscathed either. My former friend's career and personal life were both torched by the unrelenting onslaught of vitriol aimed his way. Turned out sleeping with your best friend's wife and helping to destroy his life wasn't looked upon too kindly by the internet's self-appointed judges, juries, and executioners. As for me, I went from being an outcast everywhere I turned to a minor celebrity of sorts. Suddenly, everyone wanted a piece of the humiliated husband and his insane story. Job offers, media requests, even random people sliding into my DMs looking to shoot their shot. It was all a bit overwhelming. And of course, through it all, Jillian was right by my side like a twisted, heavily pierced fairy godmother, guiding me through the chaos she had wrought, never letting me forget that all of this was to clear my name and reveal Tiffany's treachery to the world. I'll never forget the night it all finally peaked. We were holed up in Jillian's apartment, surrounded by a half-dozen computer monitors all streaming different social feeds. Tiffany's face was everywhere, her reputation in tatters. And there she was, in the flesh on one of the screens, doing a live video trying in vain to salvage what was left of her image. Jillian cackled and pointed at the screen. "Look at her, Zach. The lying cheater has become the lied about, the cheated. Justice has been served, all from behind the keyboard." I didn't say anything, just stared at Tiffany's desperate, broken expression. Part of me felt a sick sense of satisfaction at seeing her brought so low. But another part felt a pang of sadness for the girl I once loved so deeply. Tiffany. That freedom tasted so sweet, for a little while, at least. Until the inevitable backlash started. Zach's friends and family closing ranks, shutting me out like I was a walking STD. The vicious rumors and whisper campaigns that followed me everywhere, painting me as some heartless bitch who crushed an innocent man for shits and giggles. The smug satisfaction on Craig's face every time another person cut me out of their life, like he was proud of how much collateral damage he'd caused. At first I did my best to fight back, to get my side of the story out there and clear my name. But it was no use. Zach's sad sack act had everyone feeling sorry for him while I got crucified at every turn. The self-righteous anger, acted out through snarky memes and campaign of relentless online harassment. It was almost impressive, in a twisted way, how quickly and ruthlessly the internet turned on me. Almost makes me feel bad for being such a bitch to that weird goth chick, Jillian or whatever her name was, back in high school. Guess she finally got her revenge, using her hacking skills to tank my reputation and turn my life into a total dumpster fire. I have to grudgingly respect the tenacity, if not the motives. That bitch would not let up until she burned my whole life to the ground. It's been, 6 months now since everything went to shit. I've lost track, to be honest. These days, I'm just trying to keep my head down and ride out the storm, laying low until the next scandal sweeps in to command the internet hate mob's attention. Craig's long gone, by the way, couldn't handle being public enemy number 2 next to the heartless homewrecker, and cut me loose pretty much as soon as the shit hit the fan.